Hello, this is Keith Levitt giving the video presentation for LGST 312 Torts class. This is Learning Activity Week 2 video presentation. Good morning, Attorney Lincoln. I reviewed Maryland law on intentional infliction of emotional distress, focusing on the case Jones v. Harris, 371 A2D 1104 from the Maryland Court of Special Appeals. This case is important because it's the first Maryland decision to clearly recognize intentional infliction of emotional distress as an independent tort. The court relied in part on the rule stated in Restatement Second of Torts, Section 46, which provides that a person may be liable when extreme and outrageous conduct intentionally or recklessly causes severe emotional distress to another person. In Jones v. Harris, the plaintiff worked at a General Motors plant and had a speech impediment. His supervisor repeatedly mocked and mimicked the way he spoke over several months. The plaintiff claimed that his conduct caused him emotional distress and brought a lawsuit seeking damages. The court used the case to explain the four elements required to prove intentional infliction of emotional distress in Maryland. First, the defendant must act intentionally or recklessly. This means a person either intends to cause emotional harm or acts knowing emotional distress is likely to occur. Second, the conduct must be extreme and outrageous. The behavior must go beyond ordinary insults or rude behavior and must be considered intolerable in a civilized society. Third, the plaintiffs must prove a causal connection between the defendant's conduct and the emotional distress. And fourth, the emotional distress must be severe. The distress must be serious and significant, not just embarrassment or annoyance or frustration. For example, if a supervisor repeatedly humiliates an employee in front of coworkers by mocking a medical condition and that conduct causes serious emotional harm, the employee may have a claim for intentional infliction of emotional distress under Maryland law. In Jones v. Harris, however, the plaintiff ultimately lost the case. The court concluded that he failed to prove two elements of the tort. Specifically, he did not show a clear causal connection between the supervisor's conduct and his condition, and he did not prove that his emotional distress was severe enough to meet the legal standard. As a result, the court reversed the judgment in favor of the plaintiff. Even though the plaintiff did not recover damages, the case established the four elements that Maryland courts now use when evaluating claims for the intentional infliction of emotional distress. And that concludes my summary of the rule in the case. Thank you.